G'day, we did it. Welcome, episode 14 of Live with Tim and Kate. And today we're going to be talking about living above the line. We've got Kate Kendall here from Impact Your Life, specialist coach in corporate women, here to change your life, and head coach for Your Body Fitness, Tim Morgan. That's me, if you didn't guess that one already. Kate, we're going to throw to you to introduce the topic because this is the sort of mood I'm in tonight. You've got this for the last 10 minutes, so we're ready. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I know. Awesome. Nice to see you, Tim. Welcome, everyone, to episode 14, and we're super excited to have you here. So to start off with, what we'd love you to do is, interact throughout this time. It's really great for you. We get energized by you guys asking questions and being involved. And what we wanted to do each week, we have a topic of question that we want to just ask you guys to interact with. And what we wanted to ask you is, what is your favorite quote? Type it below, let us know, so people can actually be empowered and can learn off what quotes that you might really really have that inspires you every day. So, or things that you might have on your wall or on your phone. What is that? Comment below. I'd love to hear what your favorite quote is. And tonight we're going to talk about above the line, below the line, vicar and victim mentality and way of thinking, and how that impacts a lot of people's lives, and how can you identify where you might sit. And sometimes people go from, stay below in a lot of areas and kind of put the toe into above the line, but we want to try and get you above the line and think a little bit differently about life and things that, happen in life instead of life happening to you. So that's what the topic we want to talk about. Tim and I are so passionate about this, about this topic, so we can get very excited about this. And we want to help you to have some understanding and have some takeaways, some action steps. And that's the idea of our sessions, is that we can give you some education, some wisdom, and then some steps to take away with you by the end. So there you go. That's today's topic. We're super excited. So are you ready to get started, Tim?
I'm ready. Yes. Yeah, we've got off to such a great start. You've even been tagged today, Kate. Boom.
Woo! Look at you go.
Look, I just wanted to start with one of my favorite quotes, right, to get this quote of the day going. I thought that would be cool. And it's be the change you want to see in the world, by Mr. Gandhi. But I believe that he's actually not the original person of the quote, but everyone says he is. So I'm claiming it. But I really like what that means, right? And I think that's really relatable to our topic is, be the change that you want to see in the world. Don't just expect that change from everybody else around you. And for those who are just watching and are unsure on how this topic works, the victor versus victim mentality and the living above the line, this is exactly what we're talking about. KK, do you have a favorite quote? I'm putting you on the spot here, but is there something that resonates with you?
You are, and I'm just trying to think what my one is. I haven't got one off the top of my head. We should have thought about that. Thought about that before. I should have got one organized.
Yeah, I'm just really good at throwing under the bus these last couple of weeks with the fly. My mind does this. Catch. Yeah. But awesome. I promise one thing that we'll get out tonight, and that's by the end of it, you'll just have an amazing Kate Kendall quote, right, just from this video, and hopefully a couple from me too. So we'll get it going.
Yeah, exactly.
Kate, let's jump into something we have talked about, which is can you just briefly explain the victim versus victor mentality and living above the line? I guess just what that essentially means for people.
Absolutely. So when you are living above the line, and so there's above the line and below the line, and when you're living above the line, you're someone that's actually making choices and not actually feeling, when you're below the line, your life's happening to you. When you're above the line, you're making the choices, you're in a little bit more control of your life. Accountability, you're actually taking ownership of your own accountability. And when you're below the line, you're not blaming, you're always blaming other people. You're blaming, you're in denial. You're waiting for others to make decisions, where when you're above the line, you're doing those things, you're taking action, you're living in hope, you see things, you know, as opportunities, opposed to when you're below the line, you think you're looking at things as everything's bad and everything's, you know, against you. The world's, you know, out to get you. Where, and you know, finding faults in so many things, where when you're above the line, you're actually, you know, looking for there's still the gold, and those nuggets in, you know, things that are going on in the world at the moment, where, you know, people, when you're above the line, even though things might be challenging, you are thinking of what could you do in this situation that's going to, you know, impact. And, you know, and also when you're above the line, you get feedback off people, and you take that on board and not find that as a, you know, as a negative, you know, that, oh, poor me, you know, that's such an insult. And, you know, when you're below the line, that's how you kind of think. So they're kind of a couple of things, you know, to start with. So it's a couple of things you want to add.
Yeah, and I think the way I've always viewed it is, it's the world either happened to the world or the world happens to me. So, you know, you fall into that victim mentality, you know, and everything, like, it just, as you said, right, everything is against me, everything's atop me, and the world is just not working in my favor. Where those who are the victim mentality have this tendency to go, okay, cool, well, what's the opportunity in the situation? Or you'll hear them say things like, we fail forward or fail upward, right, rather than you fall down and quit, or I'm not good enough. It's rather, oh, well, maybe I'm just learning, or maybe I'm just beginning, or just getting started.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
that was another one I was going to say, was the failure, you know, seeing failure in everything. You know, I'm such a failure. That was, you know, seeing the fault in something, where, you know, if you go, yeah, well, that was a real lesson that I could learn from that. What could I do differently next time, and use that as a strength, opposed to that you lay down and you know, lay down and give up type thing, you know, type attitude. So yeah, it's pretty powerful to be able to learn how to step up into that, you know, changing, you know, we, you know, a lot of us at times we go back in, you know, might, you know, step back into that way of thinking at times, but it's actually going, being aware and acknowledging that, okay, that wasn't really the way I wanted to be thinking. Okay, you know, we've talked about emotions and feelings and stuff. That can be a part of why you step down into that. That's okay. Feeling that, understanding what that means, and going, okay, how can I actually now change that and step up above the line and go, okay, what can I learn from it? What can I do differently? How can I take control of things that are, you know, actually going on, and do that pivot and that shift?
Yeah, definitely. And it changes. But once you look at the world from, and all we're doing is essentially sitting in a different chair, right? So the way I look at it is, I can be on this side, right? I can be looking over in this direction, and this can be the victim mentality, right? And, you know, I can see the shades and the darkness and all that sort of stuff on one side, and from exactly the same position, looking at exactly the same thing from a different angle, we can have a completely different perspective. And, you know, humans innately are built for survival, not for success, not for flourishing, all that sort of stuff. We're built just to keep existing, hopefully do some reproducing and all that sort of stuff, right? It's pretty simple. We're not complex organisms. But the cool thing is, our conscious mind has this ability to go, okay, well, I want more, right? We want to do more with this. So essentially, you're going to have to train yourself to start looking for these opportunities in these situations. And I think you know, one thing I've been really, really lucky is we've got a great circle of friends, you know, all across the country that have all gone through this COVID stuff all at once. And you've really seen that victim versus victim mentality show, right? I know personal trainers that day one, they'd said, you know what, it's too hard basket, quit, the center length the next day, right? And then I know guys that have fought, you know, down to the bone, right? Everything's been stripped away from them. They lost all their income. They lost their premises. They lost everything, right? And then they've built it all back up, or they've found a way, you know, they're doing the Zooms and they're doing everything. And they've found ways to succeed even in this environment. And now even some flourishing, right? Some, you know, because the competition's gone. So there's some huge opportunities here. And this is the impact that having this different mindset and this just shift in chair, right, of perspective. And it's something you can do. And we're going to talk about practical application type. But today, right now, listen to this and then go, all right, I'm not going to be the victim anymore. That's it. I don't have to be. And I think, Kate, for some people, just knowing that you don't have to live above the line, right? That it doesn't have to be everyone's fault, and you have some control in all of this stuff.
That's absolutely. And The other thing I wanted to mention was, you know, with what you're talking about is, you know, obstacles come up in life, and seeing those, you know, obstacles or you know, everything's a problem, everything's really bad, everything's, you know, always down and out. But it's really actually going, what's the solution? What, you know, you become a solution seeker, a solution, you know, yes, a solver. Like once you can actually start thinking in that way, you know, in that frame of mind, it's amazing what can actually change and what can actually happen to pivot and change it. You change your, as you said, shift from one seat to another. Okay, you might jump back for a little bit, but it's actually jumping back really quickly and looking at, as you said, from a different perspective. And it's like through different lenses.
Yeah. So I think we've sold the people, right? They need to change their mindset. We're good. If you've been sold on this, give us a thumbs up. Hey, let us know that you are pumped up and ready to change. Now, if we talk about the victim mentality, let's talk about some things that, okay, now, how do I know if I'm being a victim, right? Because sometimes mindset, we've been in it for so long that we get stuck, right? Yeah. So I guess what's some of the language, or what are some of the words? And I think if we make this health and wellness specific, right, it'll come quite fluently for both of us, and it'll resonate with everybody that I know, especially on our side of the fence.
Yeah.
I'm sure yours too. Yeah, but what are some things you hear when you might first meet someone and you know that they're in this victim mentality, which is you're not a bad person too, by the way. Yeah, you're just stuck, right? We're teaching you how to not be stuck anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. What are some of those things?
I'm glad you pointed that out, because we don't want you to feel that you are alone. This is very common for people to, you know, be stuck and not know how to, when you've done something for such a long time, you've spoken in such a way, you've got the language and, you know, been around people that speak that way, your parents, you know, generally is generational as well. And the people that you hang around, that's generally how people are speaking and behaving, and the language that's used. So it's not your fault, but, you know, if you want things to change, then it's actually looking at things differently. So the things that I come across is, I don't have time. This is how I am. I've always been like that. You know, nothing, you know, it's not going to be any different. It's never going to change. You know, it's, you know, everything's against me. Why is this always happening to me?
Yeah.
I'm just fat. That's just how it is. You know, my family.
I'm lazy.
I'm lazy.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah. What else? They're just a couple that kind of come to my mind. Oh, there's no other way. I don't have money. I've done everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Nothing's going to work. Nothing will ever work.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of. What about yourself?
Yeah, look, you covered definitely most of them. I think the other things, you know, it's just those extensions of different ways that we don't have time, right? You know, maybe it's work's fault, maybe it's the kid's fault, maybe it's hubby's fault, maybe it's the missus' fault. Yeah. You know, but I guarantee you, we've all got the same 24 hours in a day, and there's people out there that are way busier than all of us that get a whole heap more done.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just about finding how, instead of asking, I read something today, actually, I think it's quite relevant here. A victim mentality will say, what they'll you know, why does this happen to me? Why don't I have any time? All that sort of stuff. And they really feel that it's being attacked. But what they need to do is change that question to why. Why is it happening to me? How can I make this work? Right. So if it's time, how can I make time?
Yeah.
What can I change?
Yeah.
Or if it's money, is how can I find the money, or how can I generate the money? Because there's heaps of ways to make money or do better there. A lot of people are saving money with coronavirus because they're drinking less and going out less, right?
Yeah.
Stacks.
Yeah.
I'm saving like $40 a week on basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah,
you know, so there's plenty of opportunities there if we look at it, right? So you're not in a worse position.
Yeah, and it's what the values are, what's important, as well, isn't it? To where you put your time and energy into, and you know, when it's on yourself and you want things to change, it's, you know, you want your life to be different. It's important to, you know, look after number one. And we've talked about, like, you know, last week or the week before about, you know, being selfish and, you know, what self is meant for people to put the time into themselves. And it is really important. You're the one, you know, that needs to be looked after and have things work, you know, doing the things that are going to fulfill you, make you, help you to be happy, which impacts and is a rippling effect to your family. So, you know, it's important to put that time into the things that are going to help you to do the things with your family and your life. So that's where thinking differently about, okay, maybe things might be busy, but where can I make the time to do? There's just little things that you can do by making that time for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the other things to note on this is you can be a victor in one part of your life and a victim in another. So, you know, you might, for example, be the high-flying corporate at work, right, and be very good at problem solving, and then come home and be really bad at health and fitness, you know, and looking after yourself. Yeah. But I think, you know, you can leverage that skill set. And once you, pretty common. Hey.
Yeah, very common, especially, as corporate world and, you know, busy business people, they, you know, put everything into their business, and their health, you know, is sacrificed. And then, it's can be in different areas, as you said.
Kate, how do we get out of this trap? So, you know, we talked about victims, and what it looks like. We've talked about the victor versus victim mentality. We convinced everybody we want to be victors. We're on the page. So what are the steps? What are we going to take to make this happen?
Yeah, cool. So the first step is really the awareness. So if you don't even realize you're actually doing the things, saying the things, sometimes those habits, you know, I'm always busy. Like I know Jason talks about this, you know, Jason talks about this a lot, right? About, you know, we get in that habit of, you know, people go, how are you? Oh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. And sometimes I used to do that, and like I was busy, but it's like people just say they're busy all the time. And once you're actually so programmed and hearing, like saying those things all the time, you don't even realize until that awareness you get awareness of it. And that can be writing things down, having a look at just being that helicopter view of yourself, and being observant of how we're talking about these things of the different language and different behaviors and habits. Like even people don't realize I was talking to someone today, and they say, you know, I'm eating really healthy and I always eat really healthy. And it's like, they don't even realize the food that they pick up, the food that they're putting in their mouth, the drinks that they're having, because they're just so programmed and it's just so automatic. They go to the fridge and eat and don't even realize they're actually doing these things. So once you actually start stopping and being aware without judgment, we talk about this a lot as well, without judgment, once you become aware and be observant, writing it down, having a look at that and going, wow, I do that a lot. And, I did it again. Like, and once you start understanding that, you can then start pulling yourself up and going, oh, okay, I don't want to actually do that. I'd like to do this differently. And you start changing those habits and behaviors, or the language, or whatever it might be. So the awareness is definitely the first step. And I think I just jumped into the second step, which is about making the change, which is, starting to write it down. And what can you do? What can you say differently? What steps can you do to help yourself to be able to make those changes and do it a little bit differently, and asking for feedback. Like if you've got partners or people you're around, I've just noticed that I actually do X, Y, and Z, and I really don't like, you know, that in myself anymore. Would you be able to correct me? Or, you know, if you're swearing a lot, if that's something you don't really, you know, it's not really a nice thing that you want to be doing around your family or certain people, but you're noticing it's coming up a lot, then you actually get someone to, you know, say, hey, can you say a certain word, or can you correct me, and just say, hey, you're doing that, you know, doing that thing again, so that you can, once you start doing that, you break the habit and break the patterns.
Yeah, I love that. Right. So, you know, that giving, and you got to give someone permission to do it, but give someone permission to call you out if you start to fall back into it, you know, and you know, as I said, we're very lucky. We've got a really good circle of friends that will just do it naturally. Going, is that the truth? Is that really what you think? And you go, okay, well, I'm probably not, you know, which is, it's good, because I think the final point we wanted to make, right, is you got to practice. You know, we've been aware of this stuff for many years, and there are still days where I just fall back into that victim mentality, you know, like, stuff this is ridiculous. Why does it keep happening? You know, all that stuff. And then you're like, hang on, wait, Tim, you're in control. You got this. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because you can go into that, you know, have the pity party and do it, you know, and that's fine to do that for, you know, a short period of time, feel the emotions, as I said before. But when
Yeah.
you learn how to do this and practice and it's like, you know, as we said before we got online, was an example of, you know, you go to the gym and you want to have, you know, a good physique or, you know, biceps or have a, you know, a good booty. You actually need to continue to do reps. You have to keep doing, you know, lifting weights and doing the workouts and you know, eating nutritional foods to be able to get to that goal. But it's not going to happen overnight. And it's the same. The mindset stuff is exactly the same. Sometimes a little bit more challenging because that is the leader of all, you know, so many other parts in your life. And once you can actually learn to pick yourself up and go, oh, okay, I've had my pity party, get out of that pity party and get back on to thinking in a different way. How can I do this differently? What can I change that's going to impact the final outcome and find it and be that solution solver?
Yeah, it's awesome. So I guess in summary, hey, number one, it's time. Yeah, if you want to take control of your life, let's start being the victor, right? And it starts with the awareness, as you said, Kate, being the observer, making sure that you understand the language that's going on. Point number two that you made is then start to take control of that language, and whether that's write it down, whether that's you go in and you start to just answer yourself and change your thoughts. And then from there, you said, you know, there's also a fantastic opportunity to get people that you trust to then start to, then you give them the power to call you up on it, right? And that can help as well, that little bit of public accountability. But I wouldn't do that on social media. You do that with people that you interact with that are going to do that in the right way. And number four, practice. This is never going to stop, right? This is going to be something that you are going to continue to work on for your entire life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it becomes more naturally, doesn't it? Like as you go through time, you pick yourself up on it, and you notice the rippling effect too, how it does impact other people around you. And even asking for permission with people around you, it gives them kind of permission to kind of have a look, you know, have a look at themselves too. So that rippling effect, once you do, you know, actually do that, change the way you're thinking and get people above the line.
Yeah, it's one of those sneaky ways that you can help someone without their, you know, from a coaching point of view. So there's a few tricks that we'll throw in as bonus points here. You know, if you give someone permission, you're educating them a little bit and they'll start to think about it. If you've got any good audio or PD stuff that you want to listen to, play it out loud. If you've got someone else that wants to hear it in the room that you would like to influence them. Never attack anybody straight on head saying, hey, you're a victim, right? So you don't call them out if you don't have permission, but you can drop very subtle and gentle hints that'll help put them in a position where they'll start to flick the switches in their own mind, and then boom, they'll get it. We had Dean Everard also share his question of the day. His answer to question of the day, which is the quote, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And I love this. Hey, how good's that?
Nice one, Dean. I like that. That's great. That's awesome. Great topic. We could go on forever with this, you know, with this topic. It's such a great one, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. So, you know, if you're struggling with this, reach out, right? We can help, you know, and I'm sure Kate or I'm dobbing her in here, but definitely we're happy to get on the call with you and just help you just turn this around a little bit, right? We can be that little bit of awareness for you, and it only take us 10 or 15 minutes on a Zoom call or whatever to get it going. So, and then you're good. Yeah, you'll be changed forever, right, Kate? That's how it works. We're that good. Guaranteed results overnight. You'll have to do the work, but we'll help you get started.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I'd like to offer the free calls to some people that are really going through some challenging times, you know, down in Vic. And,
awesome.
You know, if anyone is feeling that they really are stuck and they're really feeling that they can't see the light, you know, see any positives out of any of this right now. And, you know, I'd love to offer some, you know, free sessions. So please reach out. You know, I give 30 minutes, you know, coaching call, 30-minute hour sessions to a couple of pro bonos just to help some people out. I'd like to pay that forward. So please, reach out. Anyone in New Zealand
awesome.
As well, I know they're going through a lot of, they're going back into lockdown as well. So, please reach out.
Yeah, and so you'll see Kate Kendall obviously tagged in this video as well, so feel free to follow the train on that one, but we'll also get Kate's details up and everything linked across so you can't not find her, so don't use that as an excuse if you're watching this on my channel to take her up on a very generous offer, so get on it.
Yeah, cool. I didn't want to offer it on your behalf because I know you're really busy at the moment. So, and I know I've got a couple of spots, so we didn't talk about that earlier. So, yeah, I'd love to offer that.
Yeah, cool bananas. And of course, I'm always here. But definitely give Kate a buzz the next week or so.
Yeah. I didn't want to dob you in because I know you have got a lot on. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey,
and thanks, Mr. Jace, as well. Outstanding, two amazing people that make a big difference in your life. I love it. I definitely have to share that one. That's our social proof. He would know. He taught us.
Yeah, exactly. One of our favorite people in the world. So, yeah.
All righty, my friends. Thank you very much for joining Kate and I tonight and talking about living above the line. Please take control of your life. That's what we want you to do. Yeah, you're in control. You can do this. That's probably my final message. Kate, is there anything you'd like to close off on today?
Yeah, absolutely. I second that. It's the power is in your control that you and the choices that you make in your life, and there is always there is always a solution for it's solutions for all problems, and it's just really the way you think about it, the perception, the perspective you look at your life, and there's help out there for you to be able to achieve those things that you want to achieve. So yeah.
Fantastic. Guys, thank you very much for joining us on episode 14. We're back on Kate's side next week, 8 o'clock Wednesday night. We'll both see you there.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye. Where's the... See ya.